Silent rebellion. Admiral Helena Chen stared at the encrypted files on her quantum display, her face expressionless despite the storm raging within her. 20 years of service to the Galactic Alliance, and this was how they repaid humanity's trust. The evidence was undeniable. Hundreds of classified communications between the founding species, thousands of manipulated votes, and millions of altered records. "How long have we known?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Director Kaido Nakamura stepped forward from the shadows of the dimly lit command center beneath Geneva. Operation Whisperfall uncovered the first threads 3 years ago. Our deep cover agents on Proxima Station confirmed it last month. The Convergence Treaty was never ratified. Humanity was never granted equal status. The room fell silent, the weight of this revelation pressing down on the 12 leaders of Earth's Unified Defense Council. For 63 years, humanity had believed they were junior partners in the grand alliance of 27 spacefaring civilizations. They had provided resources, military support, and innovative technologies in exchange for protection and advancement. "They've been feeding us scraps," General Okonkwo said, his deep voice vibrating with controlled rage. "Technology centuries behind what they possess. Trade routes to dying systems. Diplomatic positions with no actual power." Admiral Chen nodded slowly. "And while they smile at our ambassadors, they've positioned weapons platforms in every system bordering our expansion zone." The holographic display in the center of the room shifted, revealing a galactic map with glowing red markers surrounding Earth's territory like a noose slowly tightening. The Raxun delegate admitted it during the Council of 8 meeting. Nakamura continued, activating a secure audio recording. The clicking, multitonal voice of Ambassador Zithix came through clearly, translated by their most advanced AI. "Humans are useful tools. Their adaptability and resource extraction efficiency exceed most species, but their expansion rate and technological learning curve make them a potential threat within the next century. The containment protocols must remain in place." Dr. Eliana Reyes, head of the Ghost Protocol Development Team, stood and approached the display. At 68, she was the oldest person in the room, having dedicated her life to advancing human technology beyond what the Alliance permitted. "We're ready," she said simply. "Project Phantom is operational at 94% efficiency. The final simulations were completed yesterday." Admiral Chen raised an eyebrow. "That's ahead of schedule." Dr. Rice allowed herself a small smile. "My team has been working round the clock since we confirmed the deception. The Alliance believes our quantum entanglement capabilities are at least 50 years behind theirs. In reality, we've not only matched their technology, but improved upon it." She activated her personal interface, and the holographic display transformed to show a complex lattice of interconnected points spread throughout human space. Ghost Protocol can sever every connection to Alliance networks while maintaining our internal communications. We've deployed quantum shields around every human settlement and fleet. Once activated, we'll be completely invisible to their sensors. Director Nakamura's eyes narrowed. "And our offensive capabilities?" "We've been building shadow factories for decades," General Okonkwo responded. "The Alliance believes our fleet consists of 1,200 vessels. The actual number is closer to 7,000, with another 3,000 in final production phases." A low murmur spread through the room. The deception had run both ways. "What about our people on Alliance worlds?" asked Ambassador Lin, the only diplomat present. "There are over 3 million humans living and working outside our territory." "Already handled," Nakamura said. "Operation Homeward began 6 months ago. We've been quietly evacuating our citizens under various pretexts. The final group of essential personnel will receive emergency extraction codes when we activate Ghost Protocol." Admiral Chen stood and walked a slow circle around the holographic display, studying every detail of the plan they had been developing for years without fully knowing why. The instinctive caution of humanity's leaders had proven prescient. "The Alliance depends on us more than they realize," she said finally. 40% of their raw materials come from our mining operations. 30% of their food supply is from our agricultural worlds. Our transportation networks handle almost 60% of goods movement in the Orion Spur. When we vanish, they'll feel it immediately, General Okonkwo agreed. Dr. Reyes nodded. And they won't be able to find us. The quantum shroud will make it appear as if human space simply ceased to exist. Admiral Chen returned to her position at the head of the table. The question is no longer whether we should act, but when. The Alliance Council is meeting in 3 days to discuss resource allocation adjustments, Ambassador Lin said, her voice bitter. According to our sources, they plan to increase our extraction quotas by 30% while reducing our technology access further. Then we have our timeline, Chen decided. Begin final preparations. Ghost Protocol activates in 72 hours. As the leaders disperse to their respective commands, Dr. Rice lingered. Helena, she said quietly, using the Admiral's first name as an old friend might. Once we do this, there's no going back. We'll be on our own. Admiral Chen's eyes hardened with resolve. We've always been on our own, Ileana. The difference is, now we know it. 3 days later, as the Galactic Alliance Council convened in their grand chamber on Centauri Prime, a simple message was delivered simultaneously to every human representative across the galaxy. Nightfall TD. Return home. Within 2 hours, as the Council debated new methods to control their human resource, the first reports began filtering in. Human diplomats were abandoning their posts. Human ships were departing Alliance space. Human colonies were going dark. Grand Arbiter Calax of the Thraxis Combine rose from his ornate seat, interrupting a Valerian senator mid-speech. What is the meaning of this? He demanded, his cranial ridges flushing purple with agitation. Where are the human delegates? The chamber's main display activated without command, showing a human woman in a formal military uniform. I am Admiral Helena Chen of the United Earth Government, she began, her voice steady and cold. For 63 years, humanity has served the Galactic Alliance under false pretenses. We have discovered the truth of your deception. The Convergence Treaty was never ratified. Our status as equals was a lie. Gasps and angry murmurs filled the chamber. Several delegates began shouting denials. Effective immediately, humanity severs all ties with the Galactic Alliance. Our borders are closed. Our communications terminated. Our trade agreements nullified. Calax stepped forward, his imposing 3-meter frame vibrating with fury. This is outrageous. You cannot simply withdraw from established agreements. Admiral Chen's expression didn't change. Agreements built on deception have no validity. We have extracted our citizens from your territories. We have recalled our ships and resources. And now, we disappear. Impossible, shouted the Valerian representative. Your technology cannot shield an entire species from our sensors. For the first time, Admiral Chen smiled. Goodbye. The transmission ended abruptly. Throughout the chamber, delegates rushed to their communication devices, frantically trying to contact human outposts, verify fleet positions, or reach trade partners. Every attempt met with silence. In orbit above the Council planet, the handful of human ships vanished from all sensors, despite being visually observed just moments before. Across the galaxy, human outposts and colonies disappeared from detection grids. Communication relays registered massive dead zones where human space had been. Operation Nightfall was complete. Humanity had gone dark. And as predicted, the Alliance began to feel the effects almost immediately. Supply chains collapsed within days. Food shortages developed on worlds dependent on human agriculture. Manufacturing halted on planets reliant on human raw materials. By the end of the first week, economic panic had spread throughout the Alliance. By the end of the first month, several outer systems had fallen into chaos. And behind the quantum shroud, humanity watched, waited, and prepared for whatever would come next. The vanishing species, Grand Arbiter Galaxy's tentacles quivered with barely contained rage as he surveyed the emergency council chamber. 100 days had passed since what the Alliance now called the human vanishing, and the situation had only deteriorated. "Report," he commanded, his voice echoing through the cavernous hall. High Commissioner Televox of the Zenith Concordat stepped forward, her holographic form flickering slightly. Even power distribution was becoming unreliable. "The economic collapse has reached critical levels," she began, her multifaceted eyes dimming with each word. 17 systems are experiencing severe food shortages. The Proxima manufacturing hub is operating at 28% capacity. The quantum grid has degraded to 70% functionality without human maintenance teams. "And our search efforts?" Klax demanded. General Vrax of the Alliance Defense Fleet shook his armored head. "We've deployed every sensor platform, every scout ship. Human space appears completely empty. No emissions, no communications, no quantum signatures. It's as if they've phased into another dimension entirely." "Impossible," Klax muttered, though with less conviction than before. "No species could develop such technology without our knowledge." A bitter laugh came from the back of the chamber. Ambassador Lorthal of the Nylori Ascendancy stepped forward, her ancient form moving with surprising grace. "You underestimated them," she said simply. "We all did. While we fed them outdated technology and patronized their primitive understanding, they were studying us, learning our weaknesses, exceeding our expectations in ways we never monitored. The humans were contained," protested Subarchon de Vris. "Their expansion was limited, their technology restricted." "Was it?" Lorthal countered. "Or did we simply believe our restrictions were effective because they allowed us to see what they wanted us to see?" The chamber fell silent as this uncomfortable possibility settled over the gathered leaders. "What are our options?" Klax finally asked. "Find them," suggested General Vrax. "Increase our search efforts. Deploy the reality phase detectors." "Negotiate," offered Ambassador Lorthal. "Admit our deception and offer genuine partnership, or prepare for their return," said Televox quietly. "Because they will return, and when they do, it will be on their terms." Behind the quantum shroud that now enveloped human space, Admiral Helena Chen stood on the observation deck of New Horizons Station, watching as construction drones swarmed around humanity's newest achievement. The massive structure taking shape would be the first of the phase gates. Transportation technology far beyond anything the Alliance possessed. "Impressive, isn't it?" Dr. Rice said, joining her at the viewport. "Without Alliance restrictions, our development has accelerated beyond our most optimistic projections." "How soon until it's operational?" Chen asked. 3 weeks. Once the network is complete, travel between any human worlds will be instantaneous. No more sublight journeys. No more vulnerability during hyperjump transitions. Chen nodded, satisfaction evident in her expression. "And our defense grid. The quantum shield generators are now self-sustaining. We can maintain the shroud indefinitely. Our new sensor array can penetrate their defenses while remaining completely undetectable." A comfortable silence fell between them as they watched the construction progress. After a few minutes, Director Nakamura joined them, his typically stoic expression betraying unusual excitement. "The Council is waiting," he said simply. In the central chamber of Earth's new government complex, representatives from every human colony and settlement had gathered. Unlike the ornate, ostentatious hall of the Alliance Council, this room was designed for functionality. A perfect circle with Admiral Chen and the core leadership team at the center. "The Alliance is crumbling," Chen began without preamble. "Their economic systems are failing without our resources. Their defense posture has weakened as they've diverted ships to search for us. The founding species are turning on each other, blaming one another for our disappearance." As anticipated, General Okonkwo noted, "Phase 1 of Operation Nightfall has exceeded expectations," Chen continued. "The question before this council today is whether to proceed with Phase 2. A murmur ran through the assembly. Phase 2 had been debated extensively: the controlled strategic reemergence of humanity into galactic affairs. "We've been monitoring their communications," Nakamura reported. "Several factions within the Alliance are advocating for genuine cooperation with humanity if we return. Others are preparing for war. The balance of power is shifting daily." Dr. Rice activated the central display, showing the technological advancements humanity had achieved in just over 3 months of isolation. "We've developed technologies they won't expect for centuries. Our military capabilities now exceed the combined forces of the 3 strongest Alliance species." "But is re-engagement the right path?" asked Governor Santiago of the Ta City colonies. "We're thriving in isolation. Our worlds are prospering without Alliance interference." "Isolation is not a long-term solution," Ambassador Lin countered. "Humanity has always looked outward, explored, connected. We did not sever ties to become hermits, but to reset the terms of our engagement." Admiral Chen nodded. "Our goal was never permanent withdrawal, but to force recognition of our true worth and potential." She activated her personal interface, and the holographic display shifted to show a strategic plan for humanity's return to galactic affairs. Phase 2 begins with selective contact. "We choose our allies carefully, starting with the species most harmed by the Alliance's hierarchical structure. We offer them exclusive trade agreements, technological exchange, and mutual defense pacts. The founding species will see this as a direct challenge," warned General Okonkwo. "As intended," Chen replied. "We force them to either accept a new reality or face it divided and weakened." The vote was nearly unanimous. Within days, carefully selected human diplomats would emerge from the quantum shroud to make contact with potential allies. Specially designed ships would become visible to specific worlds, offering new possibilities. 120 days after the human vanishing, the first Alliance world detected an unexpected signal. The agricultural planet Velos II, suffering from severe food shortages, received a tightly focused communication. "People of Velos, this is Captain Maria Santos of the Earth vessel Prometheus. We offer food supplies and agricultural technology, with no political conditions attached. If you wish to accept, respond on this frequency within 12 hours. Within minutes, the message had reached Alliance headquarters. Within hours, similar communications had appeared at 11 other struggling worlds. The human ships remained completely invisible to Alliance sensors until they chose to be seen, appearing and disappearing at will. In the Grand Council chamber, chaos reigned. "They're circumventing legitimate authority," Klax thundered. "These worlds must refuse contact." But desperation had already driven many systems beyond loyalty to a failing Alliance. One by one, they accepted the human offerings. Direct trade began. Cultural exchanges followed, and with each new connection, humanity's influence grew while remaining completely untouchable by Alliance forces. 6 months after the human vanishing, Admiral Chen stood before the reformed Earth Council, now including representatives from 7 non-human species who had chosen alliance with humanity over the crumbling galactic structure. "The phase gates are complete," she reported. "Our territory is secure. Our new allies are integrating well into our network. The Alliance has formally requested negotiations." "On their terms?" asked Dr. Reyes, now serving as Technology Minister. "They attempted to dictate terms initially," Chen replied with a small smile. "That position lasted approximately 6 hours after we demonstrated our ability to selectively disable their primary defense grid without firing a single shot." "And now?" prompted Nakamura. "Now they understand that the galaxy has changed. The old hierarchy is gone. Either we build something new together, as genuine equals or humanity, and our allies will continue to thrive without them." Ambassador Lin, recently returned from preliminary discussions, nodded in agreement. "They fear us now, but more importantly, they respect us. The founding species have accepted that their deception failed and that humanity cannot be controlled or contained." Admiral Chen turned to look out at the assembled representatives of Earth's new interstellar alliance. For generations, humanity dreamed of finding our place among the stars. The Galactic Alliance tried to assign us a place, subordinate, limited, controlled. But we have proven what humans have always known. She paused, her expression resolute and proud. Nobody determines humanity's destiny but humanity itself. We disappeared to show them we could. We returned to show them who we truly are. The chamber erupted in applause as plans for the new galactic order took shape. The species that had once tried to contain humanity now faced a simple choice: adapt to a universe where humans stood as equals, or be left behind by the unstoppable force they had failed to recognize until it was too late. And across the stars, the message was clear: humanity would no longer be underestimated.